Hello everyone, welcome to Fat 50 and Running a Marathon, a channel dedicated to health, fitness, and goal achievement. Today, we'll finish the discussion that we began on Monday about fasting. We'll revisit the subject later, but today's video will complete this series. I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm an intermittent faster. I only eat between the hours of noon and 8 p.m., although lately, on most evenings, I stop eating around 6:30. I started fasting because there's a lot of garbage in my system that I need to get rid of. That was proven to me 6 years ago when I survived a heart attack. Coronary artery disease caused my heart attack, but a combination of sugary foods, methamphetamine, cigarette smoke, and lethargy caused that coronary artery disease. Doctors could grab veins from my legs to circumvent the blockage in my heart, but only I could actively go after the toxins that were in my system. The way I chose to go after that noxious debris of bad living was to fast. Dieting was good for removing flab, but fasting has been the primary means for toxin removal. I also believe that frequently drinking celery juice is responsible for getting rid of some toxins in my system, and we'll discuss celery juice and its values sometime later on down the road. I'll admit, research-backed science says the exact opposite of what I'm saying here. In fact, it has proven that the kidneys and the liver are very powerful organs that do a fine job of removing toxins from your system without any help at all. What I can tell you is that when I eat less than 300 calories for 24 hours or more, what exits my body is hideous, and I can actually feel in my organs that something bad is gone now. But that's just me. That's not science. Now, I know I promised on Wednesday that this video would have more science-backed research, so let's get to that. Mark Mattson, a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins, has been studying intermittent fasting for over a quarter century. He says evolution forced our bodies to cope with going without food for days or even longer. As hunter-gatherers, food was not readily available, so our bodies became used to having to store calories for later usage. There's really not much evidence suggesting that intermittent fasting leads directly to weight loss, except for those with type 2 diabetes. However, a study whose findings were published in the January edition of the Journal of the American Heart Association suggests that intermittent fasting leads to eating lower-calorie meals, further suggesting that the long-term side effects of eating less and less frequently are how intermittent fasting can be responsible for weight loss. Frankly, that's no surprise to me. Permanent weight loss rarely occurs without a lifestyle change. Dieting can assist in getting rid of the initial weight, but only when you've decided to change your mindset on what and how you're eating can you usually lose weight permanently. Getting back to Mattson and his research, one of his studies published in the New England Journal of Medicine had the following findings. Intermittent fasting improves verbal memory for adults and lowers resting heart rates and blood pressure for hypertension patients. And the benefits keep stacking up for type 2 diabetes patients. They include decrease in body weight, lower levels of fasting glucose, reduction in insulin resistance, decreased levels of leptin, and increased levels of adiponectin. Another study conducted by the National Institute on Aging found in animal subjects that intermittent fasting can lead to improvements in obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancers, and neurological disorders. Hippocrates, the oath guy, is credited with first recommending fasting for therapeutic purposes, but many cultures around the world at that time were fasting most likely for spiritual purposes. The fact that those cultures voluntarily abstained from eating likely means that our ancestors, through nothing more than observation, concluded that there was some value gained in fasting. Regarding spiritual fasting, it would take longer to list the religions that don't have it than those that do. It makes me wonder if the ancients thought that we were gaining something by fasting or losing something. Was fasting's purpose to offer some previously unavailable insight, or was its job to remove imperfections, impurities, and blemishes in our bodies and character? Let me know what you think about fasting, pro and con, down in the comments. Surprisingly, despite the fact that humans have been voluntarily abstaining from eating for millennia, it's only been very recently that we've been researching fasting. The longest that anyone on record has gone without eating is 382 days. That amazing feat was accomplished by a Scotsman named Angus Barbary back in 1965. However, in 2010, a yogi named Prahlad Jani took his final breath at the age of 90. Many believe that he had gone more than 7 decades without eating or drinking anything. He was once placed under constant observation for 2 weeks. During that time, he was not seen to eat or drink anything and never went to the restroom. He claimed that he got all the sustenance he needed from the goddesses. So there you have it. fasting for health, fasting for spiritual enlightenment. This concludes this series on fasting, but we will discuss it in greater detail down the road. Thanks for watching, and remember, only by taking care of ourselves first are we capable of taking care of others. Topher.